What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Party on Broad. Today, we are doing our first three-quarter season Eagles 7-round mock draft for the 2025 NFL Draft. To help me do that, he is Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA on X. What's going on, man?
Not much. It's glad that it's mock draft season. Let's just say it's been itching. I've been doing some on the side, just as you do. So it's good to finally get our first official one here on Party on Broad to start off draft season, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, if you guys are watching us live, comment. And if you're new to this, what we do is we do our mock drafts and then we go head to head. And Ryan and I will be keeping score of how many W's and L's, mainly L's for me, going forward. There will be, because that was clearly the pattern in 2024. I don't know. We probably did like 20 mocks. And I probably lost like 70% of them.
I was going to say it might be more than that. It might be like 18-2, something like that.
Mainly because this MFer just picked Jeremiah Trotter Jr. every single mock, and that was clearly.
And wait, who did the Eagles actually draft? Oh, I was right. Okay.
Yeah. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through our selections. Ryan, do you want to share your screen?
Oh, yeah.
I guess I'll go first since I got it up.
Okay.
We're doing 7 rounds. The Eagles are currently selecting 29th overall. Let's do this thing. Start the draft. This is not going to be a full mock draft. I will skim to see like who was selected and things like that, but I'm not going to deep dive into other selections. Wow, Caleb Johnson to the Vikings. That is interesting. Omarion Hampton to the Commanders. I love that pick for the Commanders.
There you go. Shador Sanders is sitting there waiting for you.
Jalen Milroe, 9th overall to
Carolina, too.
Carolina Panthers keep doing Panthers things, I guess. That is a reach for me.
Cam Ward to the Jets, I like.
Yeah, big
Bengals taking another wide receiver.
Egbuka. Jalen Walker to the Seahawks. Love that pick.
Malachi Starks waiting to 14. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see where we're at. Benjamin Morrison falling all the way to 23. That's interesting. Alec Maynor, maybe the surprise pick of the draft right there. I'm not gonna lie, he was not in my top rankings. We'll see. Kenneth Grant's a really good pick, underrated player there for the Wolverines. So the Eagles are on the clock at pick number 29. I do have one trade offer from the Jaguars.
Yeah, but dropping 4 spots, that's not terrible.
Looking at available. We are going to do that. We are going to look at a slight trade back with the Jaguars.
Smart.
They have accepted the trade, and we are traded to the top pick of round 2. And my goodness, this is exciting. If I was an Eagles fan, I love the way this set up. The 2 guys that I really like are still sitting there.
Yep.
I can't be back again, can I?
Can you? 35? Oh, that's another 2.
I'm not doing it. I'm going to go James Pierce Jr. With my first pick. We'll get into why, but real quick, just elite measurables. I would be shocked if he's sitting there. Hasn't had that crazy performance, breakout season that we expected out of Tennessee this season. But, I mean, he's everything you're looking for. 6'5", great length, excellent pass rusher, very raw. So, for me, I'm going to go edge rusher with my number 1 pick. Give me James Pierce Jr., a guy that can replace Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham's. Although I'd love to see him duke it out for one more year. It's going to be a sad day when he hangs it up. But he's playing well. So give me James Pierce Jr. I'll share your screen.
Yeah, listen, that's an easy decision. As much as Tyler Warren being there, he being a big tight end guy, it would be hard. But Pierce was the absolute choice. And you're right. There's no shot in hell he makes it into the second round. But hey, you never know, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've seen crazier things. So
I love Tyler Warren, man. It's good to see Penn State finally drive their offense through Tyler Warren, and I think they're finally reaping the benefits as Penn State's offense has been outstanding lately.
Yeah. All right, let me go up. Travis Hunter first. Ted McMillan to the Titans. Browns take a Ashton Genty. Carter Milrow to the Jets. Cam Ward to the all right, so they're just grabbing quarterbacks.
I do not see Jalen Milrow as a first round pick. I don't buy that whatsoever. That's a massive reach, in my opinion.
Yeah. Wow, 3 tackles in a row: Chicago, San Fran, and Denver. Oh, Colson Loveland, tight end to Washington. Didn't they just draft a tight end last year? Junkins to Pittsburgh. That's not bad. All right, so let's see here. All right, kind of got a little bit of the same, but I will also see where I can kind of trade back. Ooh, 34 or 37. I'm gonna see what I can get out of Cleveland. Hey, all right. I'll take that to drop back to 36. There's a guy I really, really want.
All right.
Pierce is gone. Warren is gone. So, I know right now. I'll just kind of slide it down here. Right here, these 3 guys right here are dudes that obviously we have been looking at quite a bit. I'm gonna kind of go interior. I'm gonna go with Walter Nolan.
Interesting. Okay.
Here, even though I like Landon Jackson and Princely Umamielen, mostly because I can now pronounce his name properly. But still, as much as we do need edge, I feel it's such a deep class. Walter Nolan slipping into the second round. Personally, I don't think that happens, but I think you combine him, you're probably going to lose Milton Williams. Moro Jomo is slowly but surely kind of rising up, probably into that Milton Williams role. But, still, if you can have a force like Jalen Carter, a humongous body like Jordan Davis, and then combine that with Walter Nolan, I'd say the middle is pretty solid and good to go for the future. So I'll go with Walter Nolan. And since I'm already here, I'll just go with my next pick. This is an absolute easy one. I'll just go down just to make it look like I'm looking for somebody else.
Yeah, you're not doing it what I think you're doing, are you?
Wait, where is my next pick?
You're the worst.
Yes, I 1,000% am absolutely taking my boy.
That's right. That's where I was gonna go too.
I cannot help it. As much as okay, right now, if the board fell, obviously going with a Princely Umamielen or Landon Jackson, and then somebody like a Deion Walker here, that would have been probably the better move. But since I obviously went with Walter Nolan here, I'm gonna go Trey Harris and solidify our third wide receiver. And this way, now if AJ Brown is out for a few games, or maybe maybe again we're just kind of needing this guy will absolutely raise the game for the wide receivers here. So I'm going Trey Harris. This dude is an absolute stud. And yeah, I got to get some offense too, because clearly wide receiver 3 has struggled. Clearly, wasting a third round pick on Jahan Dotson wasn't the move, but I fixed that with Trey Harris.
It's a really good selection. He's a guy that can play the slot. A massive playmaker. There's no way, at least in my terms, like he's closer to the top 10 in terms at the position than he is like at this area in the draft. I don't understand it. I think he's a first round talent. All right, I am on the clock here. I've got, I think, 2 second-round picks. My math is obviously terrible.
No, I think we both got thirds.
Okay.
I got maybe an earlier third than you did, but you still got a decent one.
All right, so we're on the clock here. Donovan Ezaraku is a really fun high riser. Everyone should know about. We covered him on a previous show. Really fun prospect, putting up tons of numbers. Doesn't have elite size, but amazing production. Looking at some other hopefuls. Lathan Ransom is a guy that could have some noise to the Eagles. That's a really, really nice prospect right there. Xavier Watts, my guy, big time playmaker. Harold Fannin Jr. putting up tons of numbers as a tight end, which
I was going to say, didn't I just do something on him last week?
Yep. But we're going to go and play it safe. I'm going to go at a position that's not necessarily that crazy deep in this year's draft. I'm going to go tackle, and I'm going to go to Clemson. I'm going to go Blake Miller here. He's a 3-year starter at right tackle. I'm going to start grooming an elite talent there. 6'6". He's given up 0 sacks this season.
I like it.
Yeah, I think it's just I've got my Howie Roseman glasses on, and that's more of a long-term play. We've got James Pierce Jr., who I think will play from day one. Not sure about Blake Miller. But that's definitely
even if he sits for a year, he's learning under the best offensive line coach probably in history. So not bad. And then he could easily step in for whenever Lane decides to hang it up.
Yep. Oh, I know exactly where I'm going. All right, and then I am back on the clock. There's some interesting names here. Lathan Ransom, another guy that I like a lot. Jeffrey Bassa is a really good linebacker, especially in coverage. We've covered him. Xavier Watts, I've been a big fan of him for a long time. And maybe me last year, I would have drafted him immediately. But I'm going to go Derek Harmon out of Oregon. I think he's exactly what the Eagles are looking for. Kind of that Milton Williams, Moro Jomo-esque kind of guy that can play inside and play outside. Very versatile defensive lineman, really good size. Give me Derek Harmon. I'm really happy about that pick. So
yeah, I like that. He's
adding versatility to the D-line.
Absolutely. I think Howie is he's a line guy. So anytime that you just went back to back, O-line, D-line, that's actually you went back to back, line. So that's definitely a Howie staple. So all right, let me see where I'm at here. I got my wide receiver. I got my interior defensive lineman. Let's see what is cooking here. And there is some definite guys I like.
I feel like pretty confident that I've covered a lot of these guys so far. I'm actually like feeling good about myself. There's some guys, Zy Alexander, I don't know who that is, but for the most part, we've covered like every person we've gone over.
I dropped the.
Ooh, I got back-to-back picks coming up after this.
It's fun. All right, let me see. I dropped back 10. I still have my 74th pick that I got from sliding back. Okay. Well, normal guys are kind of there. I was hoping somebody would shake out. But you know what? I'm more of a Watts guy than a Ransom guy. And I really do like him, and may not necessarily be a humongous need, but I feel like, how long did we sign CJ?
CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah.
Let's look it up.
Was it a 2 or 3 year?
3 years.
3 year? Okay. Either way, I definitely kind of like adding somebody that's this talented in a position that I feel like we could always use. We have some depth there, but now we're really adding some talent. So I'll go Xavier Watts.
Love it.
And then I might as well, since I'm here. Man, there are some really good guys here I like. It's my 93. Okay. You know what? I am gonna go. I'll go Harold Fannin Jr. From Bowling Green. He is lighting up the college tight end world. He pretty much leads in most categories. Obviously Tyler Warren would have been a great get, but this is a really nice consolation tight end prize here to kind of learn under Dallas. Probably for a year and then kind of take over. But we need to add tight end to help for sure. So give me Harold Fannin Jr. And then you take over here.
All right. I am back on the clock. I'm going to go and make this pretty easy. I love me some day 2 running backs. Ollie Gordon too. Just 4 or 5 months ago was a top running back in this class. Yeah. It was a stone cold first round talent, and he's dropped this year with Oklahoma State's struggles. You look at the running back group for the Eagles. This is probably the last year for Kenny Gainwell, with Will Shipley taking his role as Ryan pumps his fist. And I'm going to go Ollie Gordon, a guy that could, maybe take some of those carries slowly from Saquon down the road. He's a big guy, 6'2". I think a perfect fit behind this offensive line. I'm going to go Ollie Gordon with my pick number 92.
I absolutely love that. You're finally getting somebody worthy of taking some carries away from Saquon, keeping him fresh, so that way, again, later in the season, hopefully, it doesn't rear its ugly head this year. But this way, and this is a guy that, again, we only signed Saquon to a 3-year deal, right? Mm-hmm. And so you draft him at this point. He learns a year under and kind of gets a second year to kind of slowly take over the role. In year 3, he's full guy, number 1 running back, and we don't skip a beat, I don't think, because Ollie Gordon is amazingly talented.
Yep. And then we are back on the clock here. So pick number 93. I'm looking at who's available. Kemon Rucker is an interesting name. I am not opposed to getting more support on the D-line. Sure. That's just me. There's a lot of quarterbacks available, but I'm going to go with a guy that I find really intriguing. You just simply cannot find these kind of guys. I'm going to go to Tacario Davis, cornerback out of Arizona. I'm just going. He might be like a boomer bust kind of guy in this draft. He's 6'4", and you look at D. Slay, kind of his play is not declining. I think he's been solid, but going forward, I'm going to roll the dice on an uber raw but crazy measurable cornerback to Tacario Davis, who could be, I guess, CB2 of the future. So give me on the boundary.
What a great pick. In fact, I'm angry because I was definitely looking at taking him in my next pick here. But, we kind of we like to kind of have the rule of like trying to avoid picking the same players. I know sometimes it is kind of inevitable, but I will. Let's say I am on the clock here. I have picked 93, and then I think I got picked 115. Okay. So let me see here. Ooh. Okay. All right. I definitely have a chance to do something pretty wild if it falls. But what I am gonna do is am going to go ahead and get Trotter Jr.'s teammate, and that's Barrett Carter. This is a guy who I thought coming out last year would have been, one of the top linebackers here. Had another, a solid season here, and I think coming in, you're coming into, potentially an open position because you would hope that we would sign Zach Bond, but obviously we don't know that. And you don't really know much after Bond and Dean, really what you have. Obviously Trotter is doing his thing on special teams and is slowly looking the part here, but what a better way than to add a teammate. It not only helps Trot, it helps Barrett coming in. You feel, I already know somebody closely. So I think, again, it makes it a little bit easier for him. So I'm going to go with Barrett Carter, linebacker, to kind of, again, add to a an unsure position, I think might be the right way of saying it. So.
Love it. That's a really good pick. First round, I mean, he was considered linebacker 1 in the draft last year if he stayed in it. So I'm on the clock here. We are at round 5, pick number 137. Got my edge. Got some other positions, especially on the D-line and future right tackle. So I am looking for guys that I just love that are mostly probably too low on this PFF big board. That's just my opinion. So I'm going to go and scroll down, and when I look at the Eagles linebackers, I'm excited for the first time in a long time. Zach Bond, I hope they extend him. Nakobe Dean really kind of hit his stride. But there's another linebacker here that kind of offers something we don't have, and that is Lander Barton out of Utah, 6'4". He's a 6'4" linebacker who is a ridiculous athlete that's excellent in coverage. And how the Eagles like to drop their linebackers back. Looks like a really fun guy to grow in this linebacker group. So I'm going to go with Lander Barton out of Utah, who I think is a first-round guy. And I don't think he's going to be there at all.
No. I feel like we almost have to say that with every pick. This guy's going to be here. But still, again, this is an early, mock draft, PFF again. Things certainly can change and will change, obviously. Are
you you're in the 5th round, right?
I think I'm in pick 115, I think.
Oh, then you can go. Go ahead.
4th round, yeah. Okay. Oh man. I really hate you for taking Takario. Because of the fact that he fell to me right here, I would break my leg to run up. And I would love to get Harold Perkins too. But again, I don't know. We don't know how that injury is going to kind of rear its ugly head. But I do have a guy, and I think he's certainly lower than I think any of us would put him. Now he didn't necessarily have a breakout or stud season, but this guy is a solid. Might as well just go to the position. A solid player at his position, and that's Patrick Payton.
Love it.
Florida State.
God, how is he at one?
Whatever reason, he is ranked super, super low here. But I'm going to take advantage of that, and I'm going to draft Patrick Payton to my edge class here. We obviously need, I figure we need to replace Sweat with another Florida State guy. So why not do that with a guy who has had solid production throughout his college career.
Love that pick. Love it. Might as well go ahead.
All right, yeah, I got. You want me to do the two real quick because I got
Do it.
two back. All right. Geez, Quinn, yours. Woo.
I agree with that.
All right. Jeez.
Jay Higgins, one of my favorite guys.
Yes.
As well.
Yeah. No, I definitely. And I love Mondon Jr.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe Jackson Dart that low. I don't necessarily agree to that. I'm sure you would agree that he needs to be lower.
I am not a fan of his.
No, you are not.
Do you already draft you drafted Xavier Watts, right?
Yeah, I drafted Xavier Watts, exactly.
Andrew Makuba's right there.
Yeah, I saw that too. I really love Makuba too. But I'm actually going to go with Emory Jones Jr.
It's a great pick.
This is a guy that I did a profile on a few weeks back. This would be, again, kind of in the right, mindset of taking somebody that's not a first or second round guy and taking a later guy and, molding him and building him. Now, obviously, I don't think Emory Jones is somebody that's going to fall to the fifth round. But, again, I like the fact that he's not, your number one guy and you're relying on that. You're building and molding and teaching, somebody to play Eagles football and to eventually replace Lane. This is a guy that we're not going to need to come in and play day one. This is a guy that needs to sit there and learn and absolutely from the best right tackle in the league and the best offensive line coach in the league. So what a great combination. So all right. So let's see. I feel like I need like a recap of all the crap I've done. Man, there's some really good guys here. Yeah, I feel like if this was last year, I probably would take Makuba and just double up on safety. Yeah. But I feel like we're in a lot better position now.
I know,
right? Than we certainly were then. But let me actually say, what am I at? 156. I do love me some Powell Ryland. I'll go ahead and get another edge. It's certainly a position of need. This is a guy that's, if he's not leading the college football, he's like top 5 in sacks this year. Absolute monster. Definitely check out Antoine Powell Ryland. Let's add him to the mix because we definitely need some help. In the on the defensive line. So you go. I feel like I've picked like 5,000 in a row. So
I'll go real quick.
Yeah.
I'm at 156. I'm looking at who is available again. A lot of quarterbacks. Tommy Hill is a big time playmaker who is generating some first round buzz earlier this season. Keep an eye on him. But I'm going to go edge like you just to double up. And give me Danny Dennis Sutton out of Penn State. Kind of in that shadow of Abdul Carter, but a very solid edge rusher in his own right. Good size. Yeah. Doesn't have elite production, but I'm good with that. Jay Higgins just went. Curtis Rourke just went. Curtis Rourke is so underrated. I think he's going to be a first-round quarterback when all's said and done. And then I'm back on the clock. I have yet to get my tight end. And there's a couple of interesting ones.
Wow.
I'm shocked that Mitchell Evans is still there.
Or Oscar Delp.
Oscar Delp. Luke Lachey is really solid as well. If you don't know him, Iowa just always pumps out these excellent tight ends.
They really do.
Terrence Ferguson's really good as well. Good size. So I've got my choice. For me, I'm going to go Luke Lachey. I think he's a very good offensive tight end. He's kind of good, very good in all the other areas, but great size at 6'5", I'm going to go with Luke Lachey out of Iowa for my Birds. And then we are back on the clock. I might as well do this pick before I throw it back to you.
I was going to say, might as well.
Patrick Payton's still there. That's insane.
Oh, God.
That is insane. I don't think I got a wide receiver, did I?
No, I don't think you did.
Let's see who's available. Theo Weiss Jr. Tez Johnson out of Oregon is going to be my pick here at 166. Really fun slot receiver, great route runner. Just quickly scanning who's else is available. That is, yeah. Deion Burks is really nice too, but give me Tez. I'm going to go Tez.
Yeah, that's who I would absolutely take in that position there. Love that. Love it. All right. Oh, snap. I got two back-to-back. Man. All right, screw it. I'm getting a Georgia linebacker. Smell London Jr. Let's add to the linebacker room. Again, don't know if we're going to be able to re-sign anybody, but I feel like that's a group as a whole that definitely needs some help. So why the hell not? And Keon Saab, I like him. So you went with Lachey.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to go with Mitchell Evans. I'm going to get another tight end here. This is definitely, something that, I don't know. For me, it's been very frustrating needing to add more talent in the tight end room, especially considering Dallas Goedert gets hurt every other second. When he's out there, he's obviously amazing. He caught that touchdown. He's very impactful. But we need to start planning for life after him. And going ahead and getting two tight ends, Fanning and then, going with Mitchell. You hope that right there is your future 1 and 2. And you don't got to worry about it for a little while. So
I like it.
Oh, am I done? Oh, geez, I'm done.
You're done? All right.
Yep.
I'm going to make my last pick here, and then we'll go to recaps. I'm just going to, when in doubt, just double up on defensive backs. Give me Jabbar Muhammad, who's a smaller corner. He's like 5'10", so it'll probably be like a slot guy on the inside at the next level. I'll go Jabbar Muhammad, and we'll just wrap it up.
All right.
Do you want to go first or second?
Yeah, somehow I got a B-, but
that's pretty good.
They were real brutal on me here.
Mine are usually a lot worse than that.
Yeah, right. So obviously, I started out traded back from 29 to 36. Went ahead and got pick 68 out of that. But I ended up with Walter Nolan, again solidifying the interior defensive line. I didn't even realize I went back to back Ole Miss.
I thought I was the hottie toddy homer on this show.
Yeah, right. I think I secretly love Ole Miss, but because there was about 3 other Ole Miss players I probably would have drafted. But Trey Harris here absolutely again solidifies our wide receiving core. Finally gives us a third guy. Jahan Dotson can whatever, just hang out, I guess. But we wasted a 3rd round pick on him. Now we get a 2nd round pick on Trey Harris, who immediately probably makes us the best trio in the league, in my opinion. Moving on, then we get Xavier Watts, who's an absolute stud out of Notre Dame, just has an absolute nose for the football. And really, again, kind of, figuring out that back end of the D-backs there in the safety position, with CJ, with Reed, with Sidney, with again, this is a guy that can kind of come in there and really be impactful right away. Traded back a little bit. Went ahead and got myself Harold Fanning Jr., who I think is one of the best tight ends in the nation right now. From Bowling Green, smaller school, but this guy can absolutely just. I think he has vacuum hands for some reason. He just catches everything. So it solidifies that number 2, tight end 2, and got ahead and went Barrett Carter, another linebacker. That was my first of 2 linebackers. Again, that position is just very up in the air. I think we're, maybe I don't know. I think maybe it's a little luck this year that Zach Bond kind of just worked out and was, right time, right position, right place, and hopefully we can re-sign him. But we do need help after him and Dean. So in comes Barrett Carter. Obviously, we need help on the edge. Patrick Payton is an absolute stud. No way he is there at 115.
PFF hates him. They give you an F for Patrick Payton.
They hated him. Yeah, they gave me an F on both of my edge picks. And Antoine Powell-Ryland is, practically leading the league in sacks, or the nation in sacks. But also got Emory Jones for, again, this is a right tackle. This is a guy that can eventually replace Lane. We don't need him to do anything right away. He can, learn, under the greatest offensive line coach in history. Then I finished it up with a Georgia pick. I obviously had to get a Georgia guy, another linebacker, throw him in the mix. Again, he probably has a relationship with some of the guys there. And then, of course, Mitchell Evans to basically be tight end 3 for the next year, but eventually him and, Fanning will kind of duke it out for future 1 and 2 once Dallas Goedert eventually moves on, which, again, I hate saying, but, he has not been reliable enough to be on the field. And no offense to Calcaterra, Jack Stoll, whatever crap tight end 2, tight end 3 that we've been strolling out there, but we need playmakers, and we need people who can, come in there and be impactful. And these are 2 guys that can do that.
Yeah. Can you scroll up just a little bit? I love this draft. I think you got some big names. The guy that, obviously these are like a lot of these guys we've talked about on this show many times, but Walter Nolan with Jalen Carter would be unfair. And adding to that rotation is fantastic. I love Walter Nolan.
Yeah.
Always pops when you watch Ole Miss. And Ole Miss's pass rush is just elite. And a big part of that is because of Walter Nolan just eating everything up on the inside. Not unlike the Eagles with Jalen Carter last week against the Commanders. So big fan of Xavier Watts, needs to improve his tackling, but one of the best ball hawks in this draft, without a doubt. The guy that I'm most interested in your draft is Harold Fannin Jr. Great athlete. The amount of yak he's got this year is off the charts. And he, with Kellen Moore, would be really fun. We haven't I think you profiled him, right?
Yeah, I did. This is a guy that just kind of I think I was honestly just looking at kind of the stats for the season for tight ends, and he was the only guy that I wasn't familiar with. And so I, obviously started looking into Bowling Green, and it's a little harder to find some Bowling Green film than it is to find Alabama. But eventually, got to watch a few games with him, and you're right, he just has an ability to, if the ball is even remotely close to him, it's getting caught, and then he's just going to. He kind of has a little bit of Gronk-esque to him, as far as like he can just like catch it and just run, and you're like, how is this happening? But he just does it, and they just can't get him down. So I really liked him when I saw the film, and then every week since, he's just been getting 100 yards here, 100 yards there, and leading the league for tight ends. So
he seems like an excellent fit for this Eagles offense. Putting him in the slot, putting him all over the place in motion. And then I was a little upset he didn't go edge, to be honest. But you got 2 guys in Patrick Payton and who's the other guy? I'm drawing a blank. Antoine Powell-Ryland. Smaller guy, but kind of kind of that fastball the Eagles tend to like. But Patrick Payton, he's like 6'5", 6'6". He's got good measurables. Actually, I love the Emory Jones Jr. pick. He's excellent. He is excellent. He's who's the other guy on the other side? I think Will Campbell.
Yeah.
He's going to be like a top 10 pick. Like Emory Jones Jr. has looked just as good on the other side. So that's a great selection. Overall, I'll give this a solid like A-.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I think what obviously determined the path for me was that first pick of Walter Nolan versus, going with, whether it was a Landon or a Princely. But I feel good because you're right. I think the combination of him and Carter, and then rotating Jordan Davis in there, and having Moro Jomo kind of just there as kind of a backup who's still very good and still learning. I think you have a core of 4 guys there that are young and just talented as hell, and you'll have them for the next 5 years, just wreaking havoc. So,
yep, love it. That and Barrett Carter I didn't even mention. Like Barrett Carter is a phenomenal talent, pass rusher that will grow in that Vic Fangio system. I'm going to throw mine up here.
Let's go.
This is my big people beat up little people draft. I focused on like measurables. I feel like in this one, I didn't even realize it. James Pierce Jr. is a monster. He's going to test off the charts. They gave me an A for that. How about that? I never get an A.
No, it's rare nowadays.
Love James Pierce Jr. Again, hasn't put up the monster stats as expected, but he's going to test well. He'll be a first round pick, no doubt. Yeah, at least in my opinion. Then we went Blake Miller, kind of a luxury pick because Lane Johnson and looks terrific as always.
Always.
But he's more of a guy down the road to add to that depth, to kind of put him in that Jeff Stoutland 6'6" guy. He's been a right tackle for Clemson the last 3 years. Hasn't given up a sack. So give me Blake Miller. Then I went with Derek Harmon, another 6'5" interior defensive lineman that can also rush off the edge. A balanced prospect. Went Ollie Gordon, 6'2" running back, kind of be that chain mover backup, whereas Will Shipley can be the guy that's in there on third downs and be that receiving threat. Not saying Ollie Gordon can't do that, but this was also kind of a value pick, in my opinion. The fact that he fell to round 3, we just nab him because I feel like he's way better than his stats indicate this season. And then we went back-to-back guys in Takario Davis and Lander Barton. Both are 6'4" kind of guys and would add massive kind of size to this Eagles defense. Takario Davis, he's kind of a project, but his size is off the charts. Not the most fluid guy, obviously, but could be really intriguing on the boundary. And then Lander Barton is one of my favorite linebackers in this draft. I think he's underrated, and to get him in round 5 is crazy. Danny Dennis Sutton, another 6'5" edge rusher who's been in the shadow of Abdul Carter. I think he's solid. Luke Lachey, 6'5" tight end. And then I rounded out, of course, with 2 smaller-ish guys, and Tez Johnson and Jabbar Muhammad. Like both of those guys are like 5'10". Tez Johnson's a great route runner. He'll be in the slot. And then Jabbar Muhammad also in the slot. So overall, I give this like a B+. I think it turned out well. Any quick thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, obviously a home run with James Pierce Jr. Anytime you can add one of the best edge in a very deep and talented group, I might add, it's an absolute home run. Yeah, you're right. A little bit of a luxury on that second pick, but still, Blake Miller is an absolute stud. And when the time comes, would not skip a beat. Obviously with Lane Johnson. I'd be perfectly honest, I'm not that familiar with Derek Harmon. Obviously, I know the name, but I haven't really seen too much of him. But anytime that you're going to add more interior depth, and kind of again into the rotation with Carter and Davis. I absolutely love that. Ollie Gordon, I'm a huge fan of. A little bit of personal troubles, but I feel like this year he's been, since before the season, he's been pretty quiet, and that's probably what's kind of weighing on him. But talent-wise, he's one of the best running backs. Takaria Davis, I'm super pissed that you took him because I wanted to take him. I kind of actually was targeting him for like my next pick, and then you went ahead and grabbed him. So love that. Landon Barton, again, huge fan of him. So I was certainly all on board there. Danny Dennis Seton. I think I had a choice between him and maybe it was my guy. Yeah, I think I was between him and Antoine Powell-Ryland, and I just like Ryland a little bit better than Dennis Sutton, but still, this is a guy that definitely doesn't get enough credit being over at Penn State. Luke Lachey is an absolute stud. There's no way in hell he lasts till the 5th round. Tez Johnson, again, a great selection, great value. The fact that they gave him an F is hilarious. And then, Jabbar Muhammad, another corner, adding to the depth of the great cornerback room that we're already building. Especially when you're grabbing Takario as well. So I absolutely give this a B+ solid. I think we come out of here with a bunch of studs and a bunch of future starters for sure.
I guess I secretly like Oregon. There you go.
Yeah, you do. Apparently, three Oregon players. Who knew? I mean, I think I only grabbed what? I grabbed 2 Notre Dame and 2 Ole Miss. That was the only familiarity that I had. But I'm outside of like Notre Dame and Virginia Tech, I pretty much went all south.
All right. So guys, we are going to throw these squads onto the YouTube community tab. There's no way I'm going to be able to fit all of this in Twitter, although I do have the check mark. I'll have to revisit that. I think we should be okay because I think we have 4 characters to use. So definitely Twitter and YouTube, vote for your favorite Eagles mock draft. Not telling you who to draft or select on your favorite, but you know what you need to do. And then we'll be live tomorrow for Party on Broad, talking Eagles, everything over the last week and going forward. Ryan, anything you want to plug? Final thoughts?
No, just follow me around here at Philly Sports PSA on X. Just keep following the show. Again, got the show on Monday, Tuesday on the Eagles Pinpool Network. I have my opinion, the best Eagles show in the nation. That's right, I said it. The Birds of the Round Table, and then of course Armchair Scouts right after that, doing more college football. So stay tuned and follow this guy too.
I got 3 shorts coming later today. 2 on the Eagles, 1 on the Sixers. 1 is on the Eagles defense, which is putting up crazy numbers right now. Another is on Jalen Hurts and utilizing the middle of the field. Second best in the NFL between the hashes. Pretty crazy. And then I got another short on Andre Drummond and how much he sucks. So one team's going up, the other's going down.
Poor Six.
I know. Yeah. Such an unserious franchise, but that's for the show. We'll probably do a Sixers post game tomorrow as well. All right. Here's Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. I am Deibs, Mr. Crackpot. We'll see you on the next one. Stay awesome.